He then asked me to sit next to him. I complied. He then grabbed my shoulder and began kissing me again very aggressively and placed his hand on my breast.
When somebody makes, am I right? When somebody makes an accusation that you did something and you weren't, you never saw this person before, it's a lie, total lie, it's fabrication. Sometimes they do it for fame, maybe they get money, who knows, and he went after me on the plane. Yeah, I'm going to go after. Believe me, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell you.
Donald Trump responding today to 2 new allegations of sexual assault. This brings us to the number of 8 in recent days, releasing a statement that the latest one, sitting alongside Gloria Allred, Ms. Zervos, he did remember from The Apprentice, but denies that he had any contact with her that was inappropriate. Meantime, on NBC, Vice President Biden was asked why should Bill Clinton's past affairs and the allegations against him, whether that should matter.
As you know, Donald Trump is bringing up everything Bill Clinton right now. Should that matter?
No, it shouldn't matter. Look, I can't make any excuses for Bill Clinton's conduct. And I wouldn't attempt to make any excuses for the conduct. But he paid a price for it. He paid a price. He was impeached. And he expressed his deep sorrow and acknowledged what he did.
Okay, there you see the 2 sides on these 2 issues. Let's bring in our panel. Charles Hurt, political columnist with The Washington Times. Tim Farley, host of Morning Briefing POTUS on Sirius XM Radio, and syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Okay, Charlie, this defense today was obviously vigorous. He denied everything, but he did a little bit more than that in how he described each of these allegations and the women.
Yeah, that is not, you know, the great thing about Donald Trump all along is that he doesn't play by normal political playbooks, but going after the looks of these people is, it's terrible, and it's a terrible way to try to deal with this. You know, a far better way to deal with it would be to just, you know, make his blanket denials, refuse, you know, deny everything, and then go back to talking about issues. And every time somebody attacks him on it, just go back to talking about the issues.
You know, he said that today. He said, all my advisors say, just talk about the economy, talk about jobs, talk about this, but I have to defend myself, and I'm going to. And did you see that, you know?
Yeah, there is something sort of pathological about it, and I don't, you know, obviously it's part of why he has been so successful at this game, at the game of politics, is because he does things, you know, he listens to his gut and he attacks back, but this is not a smart way of doing it, and honestly, I think a lot of people, I think that he actually could make some, you know, have some traction with a lot of people by doing this issues argument, because people are sick and tired of hearing about all of it. They're tired of hearing about the Clinton stuff, and they're tired of hearing about this stuff.
All right, a couple of things. We should say that the allegations are serious. We are sitting here with 4 men, which is, you know, not by plan that we had to deal with this topic, but you know, there are allegations of sexual assault that have to be treated seriously. We can't confirm these. Donald Trump is denying them, but the women are obviously telling their story, some in a very emotional way. Tim, politically, how does this fall, and can he somehow, you know, change this dynamic that has been developing since the debate?
That's the point. He has the braggadociousness that he has talked about before is one of the things that hurts him. It fits into this pattern of the accusations. If he is the way he appears to be and what he said in the tape, and then even though he denied it on Sunday and everyone knew it was going to be like the Gary Hart, yeah, go ahead and follow me, and that's exactly what it wound up being. So for Donald Trump, interestingly enough, a couple of things that are a problem. Number one is it kind of fits, like I said, the personality. Number two, it's also putting him on the defense. Yes, he's a pretty good counterpuncher, but it's hard to counterpunch against a whole bunch of people. It's not just Hillary Clinton or Bill Clinton or President Obama. It's a whole bunch of sources. It's a lot of women, and it's, quite frankly, a lot of Republicans. So now he's punching back against as many people as he can. The third and final part of this, I think, is that to Charlie's point, he's not talking about issues that could actually help him a little bit, but he is so wrapped up in this one particular story, and there's no way, by the way, that he's going to be able to come up with this evidence that he keeps talking about that is lying in wait somewhere.
Well, so far we haven't seen it.
Like the State Department communists, you know, under McCarthy or something. It's just no way to prove that.
At the same time, Vice President Biden saying, yes, but what Bill Clinton did is not relevant.
Of course it's relevant, but to a separate issue. The issue is the utter hypocrisy of Democrats. We're the greatest feminists in the late 90s, the ones who'd spoken forever about honoring women, were the ones who defended him during his scandals, knowing for sure that he wasn't telling the truth, knowing for sure that he had abused women, because some of them are actually open about this. He would defend them on abortion for political reasons, cynical political reasons. And the irony is that it's happening now in the reverse. But look, I think Charlie's right. For Trump to claim, this is his defense against the charges, the women weren't attractive enough, that I should have assaulted them. That's essentially what he said. You can't come up with a worse defense because it completely validates what was on the tape, that this is what he does when he's attracted to women. And you can, I don't know who to believe, but the more he lashes at these women, up to 8 right now, the more he has no chance of getting anything else looked at, particularly the Wikileaks, which could be helping him right now. And the more he reinforces this image of him, perhaps not a sexual predator, he denies that, but certainly from the tape, somebody who is extremely touchy about images of his masculinity, which is why he has to defend himself for groping what he thinks is an unattractive woman.
Right. His supporters say his wife stands by him and that he has asked for forgiveness for past dalliances, is what they say. I think this is not going to be over anytime soon, but we will cover it no matter what. Meantime, the other side of the coin is this WikiLeaks story. This is the president talking to CBS.
Mr. President, when did you first learn that Hillary Clinton used an email system outside the U.S. government for official business while she was Secretary of State?
At the same time, everybody else learned it through news reports.
Did you know about Hillary Clinton's use of private email server?
No.
While she was Secretary of State?
No.
Well, there are emails that show a lot of communication about what to do. For example, John Podesta emailing March 4th. By the way, I think that interview was March 7th. March 4th, think we should hold emails to and from POTUS, President of the United States. That's the heart of his executive privilege. Goes on with the back and forth of all the emails that have gone between President of the United States and Hillary Clinton. I mean, this starts to get really interesting.
And it's the missed opportunity for a Trump campaign, because everything that Donald Trump has said about how the system is rigged, how both politics in general and the Clintons themselves, the way politics works in this town, it fits perfectly into all of that. As this is unfolding over here, you're finding out almost in real time by looking at all of these emails that it's all true. It really is. The Clintons have their fixer, they have their enforcer, their consigliere.
Quickly, Tim, another thing that comes up again and again in these emails that we've seen so far, Chain 4, Foundation Donors. This is a document, a governance review conducted by a private firm attached to an email to Podesta, in which it says some interviewees, again this is the Clinton Foundation, reported conflicts of those raising funds or donors, some of whom may have had an expectation of quid pro quo benefits in return for gifts. I mean, it's right there in black and white.
There is so much in here, but the problem is it's an overwhelming amount for the average voter who is not nearly as engaged in the details. And quite frankly, the daily email blast is something that over time people become inured to. They sort of see it as another chapter in this story that has something to do with emails. And I understand the facts are there. There's also a sense that Hillary Clinton is distant from a lot of this. this, that she is the third party. She is like Willie Chichi in The Godfather 2. You know, there's a lot of buffers. There's a lot of buffers between Mrs. Clinton and the rest. And so, as a result of that, she is sort of floating above this. Yeah, John Podesta makes a great risotto, but, you know, that's pretty much what we see right now.
Well, I tell you what, we're going to continue to follow it, dig into the weeds here, and continue to report on it. But if I can get Godfather 2 into any panel, I'm happy to do it.